a little daunting to think about my years living with and photographing our golden retrievers. It's hard to find the right words to describe my version of paradise.
Pale moon's shining on us.
I surprised Nan with our first puppy shortly after we moved in together on East 58th Street many years ago. My friend Paul Cavaco and I drove upstate to get him from the breeder, Kathy Liebler, and I'll never forget that amazing journey home with the roly-poly golden on my lap. Paul stayed downstairs, and I ran up, opened the door, and handed the puppy to Nan, who started to cry. I told her, hold him while I go to park the car. They were on the couch together when I got home, and Nan, of course, had fallen in love, as I knew she would. We named him Rowdy, after Clint Eastwood's character on the television show Rawhide.
Down south.
People think my favorite animal is a chimp. Chimps are not my favorite animals. They're much too like people. Nice ones and nasty ones. Dogs are my favorite animal, absolutely. Normally there's about 3 in the house. And up until now, there's always been a dog that as soon as I came home, there was a bond between us. And I always hated leaving. I mean, one of them, I was going off on tours all the time. And he was a real mutt. They're all rescue dogs. So one morning I came down and I half packed the night before and left the suitcase open, and he had dug all the clothes out and was in the suitcase, and that nearly broke my heart. So after that, I never unpacked. So he couldn't sense so much that I was going to go.
Down south.
Our dogs are pretty wild and free, but a couple over the years have passed the service dog test that allows them to visit hospitals. One of our dogs, the total love bug Palomino, had the hardest time with it. Anytime we stopped petting him, Pally would bark, but he had so much affection that he somehow passed, and I took him to visit a retirement home around the holidays. Everyone's face lit up when they crowded around Palomino, reminded perhaps of their own pets. As we were about to leave, an elegantly dressed woman in a wheelchair spotted us from down the hall. An attendant brought her to us, and Palomino looked up at her. She took his head in her hands and said, "Tonight when I play Schubert, I will think of this face and I will play it beautifully." People sometimes say to me, in my next life, I want to come back as one of your dogs. This book is meant to celebrate them all, the founding members of the Golden Retriever Photographic Society. In spite of their chewing my prints and tracking pine needles into my camera bag, and I can't even tell you where they buried my light meter, I still think of Meister Eckhart's quote, "If the only prayer you said was thank you, that would be enough." It's not always so perfect, but this book is their true story.
But that's the bag.